Hi guys! Welcome sa enginerdmath channel. Sa video na to ay tuturo ko sa inyo ang ellipse. So kung gusto niyo itong matutunan, just keep on watching. Okay, so this time ay tuturo ko naman sa inyo yung another type of conic section, which is the ellipse. So, meron na akong naunang video for introduction to conic sections as well as yung first two conic sections na parabola at circles. So, kung hindi nyo pa napapanood is ililink ko na lang para ma-check nyo. So, this time, magpo-focus naman tayo sa ellipse. Okay? So, sabi, an ellipse is obtained if the cutting plane is parallel to no generator, in which case the cutting plane intersects each generator as in figure below. Okay, so ito raw yung illustration natin para mabuo yung ellipse. So, meron ulit tayong two-nap cone, tsaka meron tayong cutting plane. So, kapag pinas through natin yung cutting plane dito sa, let's say, sa lower nap ng ating cone, dapat may intersect niya yung mga generators. Okay? So, not necessarily parallel siya doon sa base ng ating cone kasi in that case circle siya. So this time, as long as may intersect niya lang itong generators ng ating cone, then makakabuo tayo ng ellipse. Okay, so ito yung itsura ng intersection natin nung cutting plane dito sa lower nap ng cone, which is this one, yung ellipse na nabuo. Okay? Now, dumako naman tayo sa definition ng ellipse. So ellipse is the set of points in a plane the sum of whose distances from the two fixed points is a constant. Each fixed point is called a focus. Okay, so ito raw yung ellipse natin, yung color violet. So, para raw ma-consider na set of points sa ellipse, itong mga points na to, so nakabilong sila sa ellipse, dapat daw yung certain point na to, let's say itong point P, yung distance niya doon sa two fixed point, let's say itong F1 tsaka F2, which is called the focus, yung sum nila is dapat constant. So, let's say, distance 1 to, tapos distance 2 to. So, yung sum dapat nila, D1 plus D2 is constant. Okay? So, same as kung meron tayong point dito. So, dapat yung distance niya from focus 1 to focus 2, yung sum ng dalawang distance na yon is laging constant. Okay? So ngayon, derive naman natin yung equation for the ellipse using this figure. So kung magre-refer tayo dito sa figure and then sa definition natin ng ellipse, dapat yung length ng segment f sub 1 to p, so segment f sub 1 to p, plus yung length ng segment f sub 2 to p, is dapat constant. Right? So, itong constant na to, let's say, equate natin sa 2a. Arbitrary value lang Then, yung coordinate pala nitong f sub 1 is negative c, 0. And then, yung coordinate natin ng f sub 2 is c, 0. So, itong origin, siya yung tinatawag nating center. So, dapat equidistant yung focus 1 tsaka focus 2 sa center. So, kaya, kung C yung coordinate ni F sub 2, dapat negative C din yung F sub 1 para equidistant sa origin. Okay? So, nasa x-axis yung dalawang focus natin. Okay? So, therefore, kung i-consider natin itong triangle na to, F sub 1P, F sub 2, so, diba itong F sub 1P plus F sub 2P is yung sum ng length nitong dalawang side ng triangle na inequate ko sa 2a. Therefore, by triangle inequality, so dapat itong sum na to must be greater than the third side, which is kung kukuhain natin yung dimension is from c to negative c is 2c. So, greater than 2c. Right? Since nga, nilet ko naman na yung sum na tong dalawang side na to is 2a, therefore, we can have 2a must be greater than 2c. Or, dividing both sides by 2, a is greater than c. Okay, so ito yung ino-note natin na a is greater than c. Mamaya gagamitin natin. Okay? Next, apply na natin yung distance formula to find the length of segment f sub 1p tsaka f sub 2p. So, diba yung distance formula is square root of y sub 2 minus y sub 1 squared plus x sub 2 minus x sub 1 squared. So, dito muna tayo sa f sub 1, p. So, let's say, 0.1 si f sub 1, tapos 0.2 si p. So, therefore, yung distance niya is square root of, so, y sub 2 is y, then yung y sub 1 is 0. So, y minus 0 squared plus, x sub 2 is x, then x sub 1 is negative c. So, x minus negative c, or positive c na, right? Plus c squared. Plus, ano naman, sa f sub 2p. So, let's say uli, 0.1 sa f sub 2, tapos 0.2 si p. So, we have square root of, so, y sub 2 is y uli, then y sub 1 is 0. So, y minus 0 squared plus, so, this time, x sub 2 is x uli, tapos x sub 1 is c. So, x minus c squared equals 2a. Okay? So, ito pala, gawin ko na lang ding y squared kasi y minus 0, right? Okay, so, para maganda, transpose ko tong isa sa kabila. So, magiging square root of y squared plus x minus c squared is equal to 2a minus square root of y squared plus x minus c squared. Then, eliminate natin yung radical, yung square root, by squaring both sides. So, we have, sa left, cancel na yung radical symbol, so magiging y squared plus x minus c quantity squared equals, sorry, ba't ginawa kong minus, plus dapat, right? Okay? So, dito sa right, square of a binomial. Square the first, we have 4a squared minus product nitong dalawa, then times 2. So, 4a square root of y squared plus x minus c squared, then square nung second term. So, parang magiging, may eliminate yung radical niya. So, magiging y squared plus x minus c quantity squared na lang. Okay? Now, i-transpose ko to dito. So, magiging 4a square root of y squared plus x minus c squared equals 4a squared plus y squared plus x minus c squared. Then ito, transpose ko sa kabila. Minus y squared minus x plus c squared. Okay? So, expand muna natin at i-simplify natin tong right side. So, 4a squared plus y squared. So, cancel pala si y squared, right? So, square na lang natin tong dalawa. Plus x squared minus 2xc plus c squared. Then, minus, ito, we have x squared plus 2xc plus c squared. So, pag sinimplify natin, we have 4a squared plus x squared minus 2xc plus c squared. So, distribute yung negative, negative x squared minus 2xc minus c squared. So, combining similar terms, we have cancel x squared, cancel c squared. Ito, combine, negative 4xc. So, magiging 4a squared minus 4xc. Equal dito sa 4a square root of y squared plus x minus c squared. So, divide ko na lang both sides by 4a para walang katabing numerical coefficient itong square root. So, square root of y squared plus x minus c squared is equal to, distribute to, magiging cancel si 4 tsaka si a na lang to, minus dito, cancel lang si 4, we have x over ac. Now, pag in-square uli natin, both sides, para mawala yung radical, we have, sa left, y squared plus x minus c quantity squared na lang, cancel, and then square of a binomial sa right, so, a squared minus 2ax over ac, right, so cancel si a dito, plus x squared over a squared c squared. So, we have a squared minus 2xc plus x squared over a squared c squared. And then, square natin to. So, y squared plus x squared minus 2xc plus c squared. So, eto makakancel. Tapos, eto transpose ko dito. Tapos, eto transpose ko dito. So, magiging x squared minus x squared over a squared c squared plus y squared equals a squared minus c squared transpose. So, factor out ko tong x squared. So, x squared times 1 minus c squared over a squared plus y squared is equal to a squared minus c squared. So, pag kinumbay natin to as a single fraction, we have x squared times a squared minus c squared over a squared, right? Plus y squared equals a squared minus c squared. So, to eliminate the denominator x squared, multiply both sides by x squared. So, cancel si a squared. We have x squared times a squared minus c squared plus distribute a squared y squared equals distribute din sa right a squared times a squared minus c squared. Okay? Now, kung i-divide natin both sides of the equation by this. So, a squared times quantity a squared minus c squared. So, dito sa x squared, cancel si a squared minus c squared, matitira is x squared over a squared plus dito sa y squared, cancel si a squared, matitira is y squared over a squared minus c squared equals dito sa right, cancel lahat, so 1 na lang. Now, if we let b squared be equal to a squared minus c squared, so b squared must be positive kasi a squared minus c squared is also positive. Kasi nga kanina yung a is greater than c. So, pag hinanap mo yung difference ng a squared minus c squared, positive pa rin, right? So, therefore, we have x squared over a squared plus y squared over itong a squared minus c squared, gagawin ko na lang b squared, then equal to 1. So, therefore, this is the equation of the ellipse. So, we can state yung na-derive nating equation for the ellipse sa set theorem. So, if 2a is the constant referred to in the definition of ellipse, an ellipse has its foci at negative c, 0 and c, 0, then if b squared equals a squared minus c squared, an equation of the ellipse is x squared over a squared plus y squared over b squared equals 1. Okay, so lagi daw kapag yung focus natin is located dito sa negative c, 0 and c, 0, yung focus 1 at focus 2, or nandun sila sa x-axis, and then dinefine natin na 2a, yung constant doon sa sum nung point doon sa dalawang focus, at nilet natin na b squared is equal to a squared minus c squared, ito yung form natin ng equation ng ellipse. Okay? So, ito yung itsura ng ellipse natin kanina. Ngayon, let's have some definitions ng different parts ng ellipse. So, we have the principal axis or the line through the foci. So, di ba kanina yung sabi ko, yung dalawang foci natin is naglalay dito sa x-axis. So, therefore, principal axis natin dito is itong x-axis kasi nandun nakalocate yung dalawang focus natin, right? Then, sa vertices, it is the point of intersection of ellipse with the principal axis. So, ito yung dalawang vertices natin. Itong V. Diba naglalay sila dito sa principal axis din. So, nag-intersect sila doon. Tapos, yung coordinate nila is given by negative a, 0, and a, 0. So, yung distance natin from the center, which is kanina yung 0, 0, from the vertex to vertices is a units. So, yung a natin kanina, yung ginefine natin na 2a dun sa definition, right? Okay? So, yun yung vertex nila. Negative a, 0, and a, 0. With x-axis as the principal axis. Next, meron tayong major axis. The segment of the principal axis between the two vertices. So, yung major axis daw is segment lang daw ng principal axis between the two vertices. So, ito yun. Diba ito yung dalawang vertices natin? So, ito siya yung major axis, yung 2a units. Kasi tigkalahati is a, right? Okay? So, siya yung length between the two vertices nung ellipse. Okay? Then, minor axis, the segment of the y-axis between 0, b and 0, negative b. Okay, so this time naman, kanina yung dinefine natin na b, kapag pinlat natin yon dito sa ellipse, ito siya yung 0, b to 0, negative b. So, therefore, itong segment ng ellipse from negative b to b, siya yung kinatawag natin na minor axis. Okay? So, therefore, equidistant din siya dito sa origin. Okay? So, therefore, yung length ng minor axis natin is 2b. So, tigkalahating b. Right? So, pag minor axis, tandaan nyo, siya yung mas maliit. Tapos, kapag major axis, siya yung mas malaki. Okay? Then, we have the center. The point on the principal axis that lies halfway between the two vertices. So, kanina ito na nga yan yung center. So, siya yung point kung saan equidistant yung mga focus saka yung vertices. Okay? Next, we also have another form for an ellipse. So, sabi, if an ellipse has its center at the origin and its principal axis on the y-axis, then an equation of the ellipse is of the form y squared over a squared plus x squared over b squared equals 1. So, mapapansin nyo, nagbaliktad lang yung position ng a squared tsaka b squared. Kasi kanina, di ba, yung x squared, ang denominator niya is a squared, tapos yung y squared, ang denominator niya is b squared. So, this time, kapag ganito yung form ng equation, ito yung itsura ng ating ellipse. So, kanina, di ba, mas malapad siya horizontally. Right? Ngayon, mas malapad na siya vertically. Kasi yung ating axis is parallel na dito sa y-axis. So, yung principal axis natin, kapag yung center is at origin, is mismong y-axis. So, magpapass through dapat yung focus natin. This time, yung form niya na is 0, C, tsaka 0, negative C. Okay? So, focus 1 and focus 2. And then, yung vertex niya is malolocate na sa 0, A, tsaka 0, negative B. Okay? Tapos, yung major axis is yun pa rin. This time, along the principal axis, which is yung y-axis. So, yung length niya pa rin is 2a, which is ito yon. So, tigkalahating a. And then, yung minor axis naman is nasa x-axis, which is denoted by the endpoint, negative b, 0 naman, tsaka b, 0. So, yung length pa rin ng minor axis is 2b, tigkalahating b. Okay? So, palatandaan ko lang doon is kung sa equation nyo, let's say, x squared plus y squared equals 1. So, over 4 over 25. So, kung mas malaki yung nasa denominator ni y, so, therefore, siya yung a mo. So, ang itsura ng ellipse mo is palapad vertically. Kasi si y is vertical axis, right? And then, kung mas malaki naman yung a mo dito sa equation, let's say, pagbalik rin ko, 25 tapos 4. So, mas malaki yung denominator ni x squared, which is 25. Ang itsura niya is ganito. Kasi, principal axis mo is yung x-axis. Okay? So, lagi itong mga form nila kapag ang center is at the origin. So, para ma-illustrate natin yung concepts at formula na dinerive natin for the equation of the ellipse, ay mag-solve tayo ng examples. So, given the ellipse having the equation x squared over 25 plus y squared over 16 equals 1, find the vertices, foci, and extremities of the minor axis. Draw a sketch of the ellipse and show the foci. Okay, so yung given equation natin for the ellipse is x squared over 25 plus y squared over 16 equals 1. So, diba it takes the form x squared over, so anong mas malaki? Si 25, right? So, therefore, yung denominator na x squared, siya yung may a squared plus y squared. Tapos, itong 16, automatic siya yung b squared equals 1. Base dun sa equation na na-derive natin, right? So, therefore, ang expect nating itsura nito is mas malapad siya horizontally. Kasi, yung a mo is nasa under the denominator nung x squared. So, therefore, pag sinolve natin si a, equate natin yung a squared sa 25. So, a is equal to 5, right? And then, for b, equate natin yung b squared sa 16. So, b is equal to 4. Okay? So, therefore, yung vertex natin, yung dalawang dulo niya is, let's say, ito yun, di ba? So, by the way, yung center is at the origin or 0, 0. So, yung v1 tsaka v2 ito. So, it takes the form yung negative a, 0 and a, 0, right? So, therefore, since a natin is 5, we have v1 as negative 5, 0 and v2 as 5, 0. So, ito yung dulo ng ating major axis, right? Then, para naman dun sa endpoints ng minor axis, ito naman yon. May form siya na 0, b and 0, negative b, right? So, since yung b natin is 4, substitute natin yung value. So, we have 0, 4 and 0, negative 4. And then, to solve for c, para makuha natin yung coordinate ng focus, so, di ba kanina nilet natin yung b squared equals a squared minus c squared. So, therefore, c squared is equal to transpose a squared minus b squared. So, we have z is equal to square root of a squared minus b squared. So, ano si a squared kanina? 25. Minus ano si b squared? 16. So, square root of 25 minus 16 or 9 or 3. So, therefore, c is 3. So, ang form natin for the coordinate nung focus having major axis as the horizontal or the x-axis is negative c comma 0 and c comma 0, right? So, therefore, let's say focus 1 to, we have negative 3 comma 0 and focus 2, we have 3 comma 0. Okay? So, base dun sa definition natin, dapat yung sum nung segment f sub 1p plus sum nung segment f sub 2p equal siya sa 2a, right? Eh, yung a natin is 5. So, 2 times 5 is 10. Okay? So, para mag-graph natin, plot muna natin yung center, which is the origin, right? 0, 0. And then, yung vertex. So, negative 5, 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, ito yung isa. Tapos, 5, 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, ito yung isa. Then, yung extremities naman ng minor axis, yung 0, 4, tsaka 0, negative 4. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. So, 0, 4. Then, 1, 2, 3, 4. 0, negative 4. So, ito is negative 5, 0 and 5, 0. Tapos, yung focus is at negative 3, 0, right? So, 1, 2, 3. Ito, negative 3, 0. And 3, 0. 1, 2, 3. Ito, 3, 0. So, ito V1, ito V2, ito F1, ito F2. Okay? Then, para ma-trace natin yung curve nung ellipse, sundan lang natin tong apat na to. Kahit approximate lang. Okay, so therefore, this is the graph of the ellipse. X squared over 25 plus y squared over 16 equals 1. Okay, next we have change 25x squared plus 16y squared equals 400 into standard form and graph. Okay, so this time, meron tayong equation na 25x squared plus 16y squared equals 400, which is wala pa raw sa standard form kasi yung standard form natin is x squared over a squared plus y squared over b squared equals 1 or y squared over a squared plus x squared over b squared equals 1, right? So, para magawa yon dapat 1 yun nandito sa right side. So, para maging 1 itong right side, divide natin both sides by 400. Okay? So, cancel na dito si 400, 1 na siya. So, distribute na lang natin tong 400. So, 25 over 400 x squared plus 16 over 400 y squared. So, ano yung 25 over 400? 16, right? So, x squared over 16 plus, ano naman yung 16 over 400? 1 over 25. So, y squared over 25 equals 1. So, parang ito lang din yung kanina. Kaso, nabaliktad yung position ng a at b. Kasi this time, yung a mo is nasa under na nung y squared. So, a squared is 25 and b squared is automatic yung 16. So, a natin uli is 5 pa rin. Tapos, yung b natin uli is 4. Pero, yung orientation na nung ating graph is mas malapad siya vertically. O yung major axis natin is yung y-axis. Tapos, yung minor axis is yung x-axis. Okay? So, therefore, yung center pa rin is 0, 0. And then, yung major axis natin, yung vertex valley is yung endpoint niya takes the form, let's say, V1. So, dahil major axis na natin is y-axis, we have 0, a, right? Which is yung a is 5. So, 0, a and 0, negative a. So 0, negative 5. And then, for the endpoint naman ng minor axis, ang form niya naman is itong dalawa yan, right? Let's say, negative b, 0 and b, 0. So, since b is 4, we have negative 4, 0 and we have 4, 0. Then, to solve for the focus, solve natin si c. So, c is equal to square root of a squared minus b squared, right? So, substitute natin. So, a squared is 25 minus b squared is 16. So, dapat, same pa rin sa kanina na 3. Right? Pero yung form na ng focus natin is dahil nasa y-axis na yung major, it takes the form na 0, c and 0, negative c. So, therefore, we have, let's say, ito yon 0, 3, and ito yung isa, 0, negative 3. Okay, so yung length ulit ng ating major axis is 2 times 5 or 10, at yung length naman ng ating minor axis is 2 times b or 8. So, to plot the actual graph nung ellipse, let's start with the center, which is yung 0, 0. And then yung endpoints nung major axis, yung 0, 5. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 0, 5. Or yung V1, vertex. Tapos yung isang endpoint is 0, negative 5. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 0, negative 5. V2. Then, dun sa endpoints nung minor axis, we have negative 4, 0. 1, 2, 3, 4. So, negative 4, 0. And 4, 0. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ito. Then, yung focus is on the y-axis, which is 0, 3. 1, 2, 3. Ito, 0, 3. Let's say focus 1. Then, yung isa, 0, negative 3. 1, 2, 3. Ito. 0, negative 3. Focus 2. Then again, para ma-sketch natin yung graph nung ellipse, approximate natin by connecting itong apat na endpoints. Okay, so therefore, this is the graph of x squared over 16 plus y squared over 25 equals 1. Okay? Now, aside sa center at the origin, ay pwede ring matranslate sa ibang center yung ating ellipse. Let's say at center, point h, k. So, sabi, if the center of an ellipse is at the point h, k, rather than at the origin, if the principal axis is horizontal, then the equation of the ellipse takes the form quantity x minus b squared over e squared plus quantity y minus k squared over b squared equals 1. So, ang itsura ng ellipse na to is mas malapad yung kanyang horizontal endpoints, pero naka-shift yung center niya h units at k units. So, let's say nakalocate itong ellipse na to sa rectangular coordinate system. Magiging yung center niya is h, k. Translated from the origin, right? So, ganun pa rin palatandaan, kung mas malaki nga itong a squared o yung denominator mo is may mas malaking number under dito sa x minus h quantity squared kesa dito sa y minus k quantity squared. Ganito yung itsura ng ellipse natin, at yung major axis o yung principal axis niya is ito yun, right? So, parallel dito sa y-axis or horizontal axis. Okay? Tapos, if the principal axis is vertical, so, then the equation of the ellipse takes the form y minus k quantity squared over e squared plus x minus b quantity squared over b squared equals 1. So, ang itsura niya naman is mas malapad siya vertically. So, let's say ito yung center niya na h, k. Yung principal axis niya, ang major axis, is parallel dito sa y-axis or vertical axis. Tapos, palatandaan ulit, kung yung y minus k quantity squared is mas malaking denominator kasi dito sa x minus h quantity squared, then, ito yung form ng ating ellipse at ganito yung itsura niya. Okay? So, para ma-illustrate yung these types of ellipse, ay magsalta na examples. So, we have, given the equation of the ellipse, 25x squared plus 16y squared plus 150x minus 128y minus 1119 equals 0. Find the vertices, foci, and extremities of the minor axis. Draw the sketch of the ellipse and show the foci. Okay, so sulat ko lang. Meron tayong equation ng ellipse na 25x squared plus 16y squared plus 150x minus 128y minus 1119 equals 0. So, obviously, wala siya sa standard form. So, since a-assume na natin na yung center natin is hindi yung origin or with a specific center na h, k. Kasi, meron na tayong x and y terms sa equation, di ba? So, wala siya sa standard form kasi yung standard form niya kanina is x minus h quantity squared a squared plus y minus k quantity squared over b squared equals 1, or yung the other way around, yung y minus k quantity squared over a squared plus x minus h quantity squared over b squared equals 1. So, depende kung pag transform natin ito into this standard form, kung anong kalalabasan ng itsura ng ellipse. So, para magawa yon, gamitin natin yung completing the square. Tulad ng ginawa natin doon sa video ko sa circles, right? So, isolate natin yung constant sa right. So, magiging 25x squared. And then, pagsamahin ko na yung may mga parehong variable. So, idikit ko si 150x sa 25x squared. So, 150x plus. Then, mag-iiwan tayo ng space para sa i-add natin para makomplete yung square, right? Plus, dito rin sa y, gather natin 16y squared minus 128y plus blank para sa term na i-add natin to complete the square of y equals, so transpose na dito si 1119, magiging positive 1119. Okay? Now, pwede nating i-factor out pala muna itong 25 tsaka 16 dito sa y. So, 25 times x squared plus, so 150 divided by 25 is what? 6, right? So, 6x plus blank plus 16 y squared minus 128 divided by 16 is what? 8. So, 8y plus blank equals 1119. Okay, so sinama ko yung blank dito sa finactor ko. Ibig sabihin, kung ano man yung i-add natin dito, i-multiply natin yon by 25 at dito rin, i-multiply natin by 16 at yun yung i-add natin dito sa right side. Kasi naka-include sila sa parenthesis, right? So, hanapin muna natin yung i-add. So, 6 divided by 2 is 3. Then, squared, 9. So, mag-a-add tayo ng 9. Kaso, naka-multiply pa siya dito sa 25 in actual, right? So, 25 times 9 is equal to what? 225. So, yun din yung i-add natin dito sa right, 225. Then, dito rin, so 8 divided by 2 is 4, then squared 16. So, naka-multiply pa siya sa 16. So, we have 16 times 16 is what? 256. So, therefore, yung actual na in-add natin dapat is 256. So, plus 256 din sa right. Okay? Now, factorable na silang dalawa, right? So, 25 times factored form nito is x plus 3 quantity squared, right? Plus, ito rin, 16 times factor nito is y minus 4 quantity squared, right? Equals, so, combine na lang natin to. 1119 plus 225 plus 256. 1,600. Okay, so in standard form, yung right side naka-equate sa 1. So, divide natin both sides by 1,600. So, sa kanan, 1 na lang. And then, distribute si 1,600. So, ano yung 25 over 1,600? Tsaka, 16 over 1,600. So, dito, 25 over 1,600 is 1 over 64. So, x plus 3 quantity squared over 64 plus dito 16 over 1600 1 over 100. So y minus 4 quantity squared over 100 equals 1. So therefore standard form na siya. So check natin anong mas malaki, yung denominator ba ng y or x? Si y, right? So therefore siya si a. A squared is 100 and ito na si b, automatic 64. B squared is 64. So ang itsura natin is mas malapad yung graph niya vertically. Kasi si y yung may mas malaking denominator, right? So, we can now solve for the value of a by squaring this equation both sides. So, a is equal to square root of 100 or 10. And then for b, square root natin to both sides, we have b is equal to square root of 64 or 8. Okay? So, to solve for c naman, we have the formula c is equal to square root of a squared minus b squared, right? So, we have square root of a squared is 100 minus b squared is 64. So, square root of 100 minus 64 is 36 or square root of 36 is 6. Okay? So, meron na tayong a, b, at c. So, by the way, yung center natin is located at h, k, right? So, dito sa h coordinate o yung x coordinate, check natin tong x plus 3. So, di ba pwede siyang isulat as x minus negative 3, right? Kasi x plus 3 quantity squared siya. So, therefore, h natin dito is negative 3. So, negative 3 si h. And then si k dito sa y minus 4, automatic positive 4. Right? Now, para masolve natin yung required ng problem, which is yung vertices, foci, extremities nung minor axis, saka yung graph, magsimula tayo sa pag-plot nung different parts nung ellipse. So, mag-start tayo sa center. So, lagi kapag magpa-plot tayo, magsimula tayo sa center nung ellipse. So, negative 3, 4. So, negative 3, 1, 2, 3, and positive 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So, ito. Okay? Negative 3, 4. Siya si center. And then, dahil nga yung ating ellipse is mas malapad vertically o yung major axis niya is located sa line na parallel dito sa y-axis, which is in this case, ito yun, right? Na magpapass through dapat sa center. Gagamitin natin yung value na nakuha natin ng A na 10. So, magbibilang tayo from the center, 10 units pataas at 10 units pababa. Para total of yung length ng ating major axis is 2 times A or 2 times 10 or 20. Okay? So, sige, from the center, magbilang tayong 10 units pataas. So, mula dito, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So, ito. And then, mula dito, sa center, pababa din. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 units. Okay, so therefore, yung endpoints ng ating major axis or principal axis is at. So, dapat same sila na negative 3 yung x-coordinate. And then, magbabago sa y-coordinate. So, from 4, magbibilang tayo ng 10 units pataas or mag-a-add tayo ng 10. Dapat 14. Then, from 4 naman pababa, magsusubtract tayo ng 10 units. So, 4 minus 10 is negative 6. So, kahit bilangin natin, dapat magtatali yung y-coordinate. Then, for the endpoints ng ating minor axis, gamitin naman natin yung B. So, 8 units. So, therefore, from center uli, magbibilang naman tayo 8 units pa kanan at 8 units pa kaliwa. Okay? So, we have from the center, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Ito. And then, sa kaliwa naman, 8 units din. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So, anong coordinate natin? So, dito sa endpoint na to, dapat ang pareho nilang y-coordinate is 4. Kasi horizontal line. And then, magbabago sa x-coordinate. So, from the center na negative 3 yung x-coordinate, dahil nagbilang tayo, 8 units papunta sa kanan, mag-add lang tayo ng 8. So, negative 3 plus 8 is positive 5. So, 5, 4. And then, dito naman sa other endpoint, papunta sa kaliwa, so magsusubtract tayo ng 8 units. So, negative 3 minus 8 is negative 11. Okay? So, meron na tayong different endpoints. So, pwede na nating i-connect itong 4 na endpoints ng ellipse to have a rough sketch ng ating ellipse. So, approximate lang natin, pag-connectin natin. Yan, kunyari, ellipse na siya. So, ang required sa problem is ang vertices niya, foci, extremities of the minor axis. So, sa vertices, nakuha na natin, right? Itong negative 3, 14, tsaka negative 3, 6. Tapos, yung endpoints or extremities ng minor axis, itong 5, 4, at negative 11, 4. And then, yung focus, kailangan natin si C. So, dapat, yung focus natin is located dito sa principal axis, which is this vertical line. So, magbibilang ulit tayo from center na negative 3, 4. This time, 6 units lang, pataas at pababa. So, pataas muna. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, ito. And then, pababa, 6 units din. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, anong coordinate natin ng focus 1? Ito siya. Negative 3, so 4 plus 6 is 10, right? And then dito sa baba, negative 3, 4 minus 6 is negative 2. Okay, so therefore, the coordinate of the focus is negative 3, 10 at negative 3, negative 2. Okay? So, ito na yung graph ng ating ellipse. Okay? Next, we have find an equation of the ellipse having foci at negative 8, 2 and 4, 2 and for which the constant referred to in the definition of ellipse is 18. Draw a sketch of the ellipse. Okay, so hanapin daw natin yung equation ng ellipse na merong foci located sa negative 8, 2 at 4, 2, and then yung constant daw dun sa definition is 18. So, di ba yung constant dun is yung 2a o yung parang length nung major axis. So, therefore, pag sinolve natin ngayon si a using this equation na 2a dapat equal sa 18, right? A is equal to 9. So, magsimula muna tayo sa pag-plot nitong focus. So, yung dalawang focus is located at ito muna sa negative 8, 2. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then 2, 1, 2. So, ito. Negative 8, 2. And then yung isa, 4, 2. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Okay, so, kung mapapansin nyo, yung ating focus is horizontal line. So, therefore, yung major axis natin is parallel din dapat dito sa x-axis or horizontal din. So, makukuha natin yung center using the fact na meron tayong endpoints ng focus kasi midpoint siya nun. Kasi equidistant yung center doon sa dalawang focus. So by the way, yung endpoint na to is 4, 2. So, using midpoint formula, makukuha natin yung x-coordinate as negative 8 plus 4 over 2, right? Or simply, negative 2. And then, dapat same lang din sila sa y-coordinate. So, negative 2, 2. So, saan yun? 1, 2, 1, 2. Ito. So, ito si center. Negative 2, 2. Equidistant dito sa dalawang focus. Tapos, alam natin na si A is 9 units. So, ngayong alam na natin yung center, magbilang tayo ng 9 units pakanan at pakaliwa mula sa center. So, pakanan muna. So, dito yung center. So, bilang tayo 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Ito. Tapos, dito rin sa kaliwa. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Ito. So, ang endpoints natin for the major axis bale is ito. So, we have negative 2 plus 9, right? 7. Then, 2. Same y-coordinate. Then, dito sa kaliwa, so, negative 2 naman minus 9 units. So, negative 11. Then, 2 pa rin. Okay? Now, para naman sa endpoints ng ating minor axis, solve natin si B. So, di ba kanina meron tayong equation na B squared is equal to A squared minus C squared. So, therefore, B is equal to square root of, ano si A? 9, right? So, square is 81 minus ano si C. So, pag binilang natin ngayon yung C from the center, ilang units yung minove natin? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, 6 units, right? Kasi, 4 minus negative 2 is 6. Or negative 2 minus negative 8 is 6, right? So, therefore, we have 6 squared or 36. So, square root of, anong 81 minus 36? Square root of 45. Or, ilan to? 3 square root of 5. Right? So, therefore, hindi eksakto si B. Radicals. So, okay pa rin. Approximate na lang natin to as, ilan kaya to? 3 square root of 5. 6.7. So, magbibilang tayo ng 6.7 units from the center pataas at pababa. So, pataas muna. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then, 0.7 around here siguro. Then, dito rin sa baba, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6.7 around here. Okay? So, yung coordinate natin ng endpoint ng minor axis is, so, dapat same tayo ng x-coordinate nila na negative 2. And then, yung ating y-coordinate is, so from 2, right, plus tayo nung 3 square root of 5 to be exact. Then, dito sa baba, 2 minus 3 square root of 5 to be exact. So, therefore, ito yung graph ng ating ellipse. Connect na lang natin itong apat na endpoint. Approximately. Ito yung kanyang itsura. Okay? Now, let's find the equation ng ellipse. So, since yung major axis natin is parallel dito sa x-axis or yung itsura ng ellipse natin is palapad horizontally, so mas malaki yung nasa horizontal segment niya. So, therefore, yung x natin yung may mas malaking denominator or siya yung a. So, x minus h quantity squared over a squared plus y minus k quantity squared over b squared equals 1. So, bali yung h, k natin, yung center is located at negative 2, 2, right? So, h is negative 2 and k is 2. So, substitute natin, we have x minus negative 2 or positive 2, right? So, x plus 2 quantity squared over, so a kanina is 9. So, pag in-square natin, 9 square is 81. Plus, y minus k is 2. So, y minus 2 quantity squared over, ano naman si b? Kanina na-solve natin is 3 square root of 5 or square root of 45. Pag in-square natin, 45 na lang. Then, equal to 1. So, therefore, this is the standard equation of the ellipse. Okay? Okay, so I think that's it for this video, ellipse. So, practice lang kayong mag-solve at mag-graph ng different equations ng ellipse para ma-master nyo ito. Okay? So, sana'y may natutunan kayo sa video nito at maraming salamat sa panonood.